My banker called me, he goes, I got an offer here, it's 850. He goes, but if you want it, he goes, I'll get you $1 billion easy. Like, let me at him.
It seems like there's a kind of confluence of events in 1999. I mean, because one, you have Any Given Sunday, where not only do you convince the Oliver Stone film to use your product, but they pay the 40 grand or whatever it is to your 14-person company.
Yeah, you've done your research,
at the time. And then two, you convince your employees to go without pay for a few weeks to take out the ad in ESPN The Magazine.
Yeah.
One moment more consequential than the other for you?
I mean, the Any Given Sunday was a big deal, and I had a friend of mine who was an extra, on the movie, and I said, "What are you doing after school? Did you make it in the NFL?" "No, I didn't, but I'm doing this Oliver Stone movie down in Miami. What's that? Can you tell me a little more about it?" Found out who it was, found out where the production office was, put a package together, wrote a letter, and just sent to the head costume designer, this woman, Mary Zofries, and just said, "Dear Mary, my name's Kevin Plank. We have the latest new company, which is now outfitting, the state of Miami alone, Florida State, University of Florida, University of Miami, Jacksonville, and the Miami Dolphins. All wear our brand." And I sent the product package on a Monday, got there on a Tuesday. I got a phone call by Wednesday afternoon, and it was like, "Hey, Oliver's now seen this. He was looking for something interesting in the product space that would be like a character in the movie. We like your brand a lot." I'm like, "Well, that's great." He's like, "Why don't you go ahead and send us, can you send more samples out there?" "Sure." "And then just send us another 100. I'm like, "We're gonna need to charge you for the other 100. And they're like, "What? Like, do you understand the exposure we have?" I'm like, "Yeah, I get it, but we're gonna need to charge you for that." They ended up paying for it. They spent about 40 grand with us, and Under Armour certainly became a key character in that movie, like showing up on Jamie Foxx and showing up on, LL Cool J, and showing up just like on, Al Pacino, Cameron Diaz, like all these great, Hollywood stars that were there. But in order to celebrate it, I was like, this movie's gonna come out, and we've never done an ad before. We haven't been in marketing. We've just been sending our brochures around that we had. And wouldn't it be great if we could market this? And so I called ESPN The Magazine, this was the preferred medium at the time. And it was 25 grand for a half-page ad. So I remember calling a company meeting, there were like 17 of us at the time, and just said, "Hey, listen, we got a little bit of money right now, but I want to spend it, I want to run this ad on ESPN The Magazine." And we sort of would let everybody give their input, and I think we need more material, we need more machinery, we need to hire more people. It's like, I think we should run the ad. And so that's where I'm like, and we may need some money, so anybody that doesn't need their paycheck, if you want to skip a week, it'd be really helpful. We'll appreciate it with equity. So for a $1 million company, we ended up doing, from that one ad in ESPN The Magazine, we ended up doing $850,000 the next week.
The 2005 IPO, what was the cash offer you got the day before?
Yeah.
That would have been take home, you personally.
Yeah.
And why did you decide against it?
It was more like a few months before then, okay. But it was for $850 million, and my banker sent it over. It was an offer from another major company.
Which company?
It was VF Corp. And my banker called me, he goes, I got an offer here, it's 850. He goes, but if you want it, he goes, I'll get you $1 billion easy. Like, let me at him. And so it's basically $1 billion on the table. And I thought about it, and I talked to probably 25 or 30 different people. At the time, I was 31, 32 years old. And I still owned 50-some% of the company. And I remember I talked to everybody, and it's like, I remember calling my lead director, this guy Buzzy Krongard, real funny. He just goes, "So when do we close?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really there." But I talked to 3 people, our CFO at the time, this guy Wayne Marino, really conservative guy, and he's like, "I don't know, I think might be something special here." There was Ed Stack at Dick's Sporting Goods, and his opinion was, "Look, I'm partial. I'd like a competitor to Nike. I think you guys have a chance. You could do it. And he said, "For me, Kevin, it was never just about the money." And that really stuck with me. And the third was my wife. And I just said, "What do you think?" And she just goes, "But you love Under Armour." So I was like, "Yeah, we turned it down." And then, which was incredibly risky because, a lot of people had invested some of those, $1,000 inputs and things, and if the stock never got above the $1 billion, you're vulnerable to lawsuits and all these other bad things that could happen. So it was definitely a bit of a risk.
Had you taken that, you just invest that in index funds, you'd still be a billionaire 20 years later and not have, put in the couple decades of work since then.
You're doing the math for me. Yes, I got it too.
But I have to imagine that's you've thought about that.
No, I mean the beautiful thing about I think the entrepreneur mindset is I do a pretty good job of knowing where we are, and like it hasn't been a bad ride. It's been an awesome ride.
Yeah,
we've been able to build Under Armour to something special. You're sitting here in our hometown today. You get a chance to see the Under Armour Sports House, which is as unique and extraordinary as it gets. It's meant to be the living physical manifestation of walking into an athletic brand. I do believe that the greatest chapters of this company are in front of us, and it's fun telling some of these old stories and kicking back and getting into it. But like the energy and excitement of what we have coming for us, like. I'm proud of our story and our past. I really am. But the best part of it all is the simplicity of, that little girl or that little boy, when they take an Under Armour shirt and believing that the world doesn't need another capable apparel and footwear manufacturer. The world needs a hope and a dream. They need something to aspire to. When you know that you can have something as physical as like a shirt, that when I put this shirt on, like I believe in my head that there's fundamental magic powers that exist in this shirt that are giving me some superpower to do something extraordinary that I could never do on my own. Like that little bit of a lift is what our brand is meant to be for, and whether it's somebody trying to, make varsity, make the starting roster, maybe just that little girl, little boy, on their first day of school with a lunch tray and going, where am I supposed to sit? Like I'm scared. But this morning I put my head through and my arms through this shirt and I felt that squeeze on my body, or I pulled this shoe on my foot and like, I'm wearing Under Armour, and that's like they make magic.